Hi there, my name is Chrissy Birdie Smith, and I'm one of COR's facilitators alongside Chandra and Britta, and I know you've been getting to know them. In today's video is a little introduction to our COR Woman workshop, and I'm going to share my own story with you, what opened up for me there 5 years ago. So 5 years ago, I was a completely different woman. I was really disconnected from my body. I didn't know how to be with my feelings, and I had a lot of them. I still do, but I didn't know how to be with them then. And I was on a lot of prescription medication for anxiety, depression, ADHD, and insomnia. I couldn't sleep without anxiety and sadness getting in the way. I was scared a lot of the time. And I was also in a relationship that just wasn't working. I wanted it to work so badly, but it wasn't. But I was scared to leave because I didn't want to be alone. And then I was also in a career of teaching that just didn't light me up anymore. I was exhausted, I was tired, I was burned out, and when I would come home from work, I just couldn't even recognize myself when I looked in the mirror. I knew something had to change. And then COR Woman fell into my lap. A dear friend invited me, and I just really trusted her. And that's how every woman shows up to this workshop. They trust someone. That's an element of the feminine. It's trusting a sister. So I showed up with a lot of resistance because I was like, I'd already done a lot of courses. I'd already been in therapy. Do I really need to do one more thing? And do I really need to do this with only women? That really intimidated me. That really scared me. But I showed up anyways. And as soon as I walked into that space, the workshop space, I got to sit down in a circle and close my eyes. And I was invited to be with myself, to really feel my feelings, to feel my body, a body that I had been denying for a really long time. I even got to see what was happening in my mind without avoiding it or trying to change the judgments, without trying to change the mania. And that permission to be with myself is when the tears started flowing, and I knew that this workshop was going to be different. I knew that I could finally get to the bottom of my pain and let it go. And that's what I did. Slowly but surely, throughout the course of this 3.5-day workshop, I got back in touch with my body again, and I learned how to dance without the help of drugs and alcohol, because that was the only way I could dance before. I learned that my body is good. And then I went to bed for the first time in a decade on Thursday night without any prescription medication, and I slept. I slept through the night because I had already begun letting go of everything that was keeping me from sleeping. And then Friday morning, we did this incredible active meditation where I got to let go of tons of emotions that I had been suppressing, tons of sounds that I had been suppressing. And the other side of that meditation was stillness and peace. And those were qualities I didn't know yet, but I wanted more. I just couldn't believe it. I found stillness. And then throughout the course of this weekend, I got in touch with those feelings that I had been suppressing, and I learned how to release them in really healthy and responsible ways. And the other side of those expressions of, let's say, anger, of shame, of sadness, was my passion, was my purpose, was my body that was alive and vital. And I started having fun. And I slowly but surely realized that I could be goofy, I could be silly, I could be strong, I could be powerful, all of it. I just had to get in touch with those feelings and release them in ways that were really safe. And then later on Friday, we did archetype work of getting in touch with all the different qualities of the feminine, qualities that I didn't even realize were a part of the feminine experience, qualities that I used to think weren't okay. I used to think that the feminine was weak. And wow, could I? That is so not true. The feminine is so powerful. The feminine is also sensual. The feminine is innocent. The feminine is boundaried and strong. The feminine is an element of devotion, nurturing, and love, and detachment, all these different qualities that I got to step into during the archetype work. And before I knew it, I became this whole and complete woman. And this was Friday alone. And then Saturday was our initiation day, and it's a ceremony where we bring rite of passage, that ceremony, back to the Western woman. And I got to have a ceremony as well as every single woman there of remembering who I really am and forgetting who I'm not. And I really got to face something. I faced a particular struggle that had been causing me so much harm and sadness, and I got to release it. And the other side of that was me, the crazy, fun, silly, but so loving me. I learned that I am enough exactly as I am now, and I no longer had to search outside myself for answers. And the most important thing that I received that weekend was my own personal relationship with God, grace, the divine, spirit, Mother Nature, whatever you want to call it. I got that connection again. And I had forgotten about it decades before. And that connection has stayed with me until today, 5 years later. And at the end of this weekend, the transformation was so huge that I made a vow that I would learn how to lead this work and share it with my community. And I've brought this work to so many people now, and I've learned how to lead it because this is the space where women get to heal in the safest space possible. And I'm a women's empowerment coach now because of it. I'm in a brand new relationship now that definitely heals more than hurts. And it's because I got my value and my worth. And that's what we do at COR Woman. So if you would like your own new beginning as a woman, where you get to claim your value and your worth once and for all, I invite you to schedule a call with one of us. There's a link on this page to schedule your call, and we'll see if COR Woman is right for you. And I personally can't wait to get to know you, and I hope to hear from you soon. Thanks for hearing my story. Bye.